Hey everyone, Namaskaram. So a lot of times on my channel I get comments that some people are really scared of picking up a Rudraksha or going for an initiation or doing any sadhana, thinking that it might all of a sudden give them that pull of leaving their worldly life and running away to the mountains and renouncing. And this is, I guess, one of the common fears, because I know some other people also have it in my circle. But there is another thing that I feel they should be afraid of, which is actually worse. It's when you get into an initiation and something misfires within yourself, or maybe even the initiation, the person who's conducting the initiation is basically not qualified or capable, and the initiation basically misfires and you are left incapable of worldly life and you are incapable of renouncing also. So those are a few situations I want to look at in this video. As you will see that some of the footage I have actually shot when I came to know some news about, so there's a personal story that I will be sharing, and so you will see some of the footage is actually a bit raw, where I just found out some information and it was, I just felt it will be good if I was to just create some content out of it, because it really speeds up the processing of that information for me. Because I've been creating content for a really long time actually, so the content creation process, it very often helps to process information. So so that is why some of this footage is a bit raw that way, and this is meant as a caution, and I feel it's something that I feel this content should be out there, because this does happen. There are implications of initiations which a lot of people don't realize. I feel this video will help in two ways. One is that it could help you understand if somebody in your circle has gone through something similar, which is quite possible. I feel the numbers are not that few. And the second is, if you yourself are facing such a thing, or at least you will become cautious to choose reliable sources which are giving initiations. A lot of people tend to be very flippant about going in for an initiation. They'll just randomly go to someone. It is a very strange thing. Maybe because I have my personal experience in the past, I am extremely particular, but I actually know even some of my friends who are genuine sadhakas, sometimes they'll just take a YouTube video and start doing a chant or something like that, and I find it very strange, to be honest. I would never do it, because I guess in due course of this video you will understand why. I had this whole video about getting overwhelmed and major life transitions and stuff, and I kind of took the less overwhelming path of just traveling around and taking a break from what I was doing earlier. I began to suspect a while back, especially because some of the there was some experiences happening internally and stuff, and I began to suspect that this other road is not necessarily less big, but anyway, if that's how life wants it, you can't keep fighting. If some major changes or major things have to happen in life, then so be it. So right now I don't feel overwhelmed actually. I do feel really ready for this, so I think that is the correct feeling. So yeah, let me give you a little brief about the personal story, and then kind of give you my learnings or my understanding, which may help a lot of sadhakas. I have seen some very close people who took a certain initiation, and after that they had a lot of problems. It is kind of generally understood within those people that the initiations kind of did not work properly for a lot of them, and they developed different kinds of problems, and yeah, and I have seen it quite closely due to certain associations, and it has been very difficult actually, even for me personally and for a lot of people involved with those people. Especially, I'll give you the example of Ramana Maharshi, because this happens with Ramana Maharshi a lot for some reason. See, Ramana Maharshi himself was a very silent person, and he has given some discourses, of course, and a lot of books and all are available, but a lot of time he has spent in silence. What has happened is that a lot of people have either just been inspired by him, or while sitting with Ramana Maharshi, they had very deep spiritual experiences. And what has happened is a lot of them have then gone off somewhere, maybe even within Tiruvannamalai or outside, and they have become spiritual leaders on their own. And because they felt their source of realization and awakening was Ramana Maharshi, they often keep Ramana Maharshi's pictures. They treat Ramana Maharshi as their guru. The problem is that especially the Western people often think that this makes them part of the Ramana Maharshi lineage, but it doesn't happen, because Ramana Maharshi did not verify that this person is enlightened. Ramana Maharshi has not directly said that this person is my direct disciple. So when we talk about a lineage, we have to be very careful, because there would be a lot of people who would claim to take some great being as their guru, and they may be genuine in their own experience, they are genuine, but that does not necessarily mean they are the actual lineage, because for all you know, they are somewhere on their path. They may be just some kind of advanced sadhaka, or they may just be displaying some kind of siddhis which makes other people think they are advanced. It is just someone showing a siddhi does not necessarily mean they are spiritually advanced, and even being spiritually advanced does not make you the right guru for anyone else. I have often pondered on what is that step from being an advanced sadhaka or somebody who is following the spiritual path for themselves and then taking that step to become a guru to other people. I guess there is a flip at some point happening. It's something that I want to look into at some point just to understand what happens over there. But the same thing that happened here, that this person who started giving initiations, they are not a direct lineage at all. They were somebody who saw a particular guru or in their vision, and they got instructions from that vision. Those instructions helped them a lot, and then they started imparting. At some point they started conducting initiation. Clearly it seems to me that the problem happened over there, because this person who was giving initiations is probably not capable or the right person to be doing that. Where the misunderstanding may have happened, I do not know, but I think that is one of the reasons that especially like Sadhguru, if we go to Isha, this whole thing about visions and all that stuff is not given that much of importance. They expect everyone to follow the organizational route, whatever it is. And I think that makes sense, because I have seen this happen where a lot of people claim a lot of visions and stuff, and eventually there's nothing. You get some visions, you think you've got that mark of God or acceptance of God, blah blah blah, and then it's all like, okay, but where is it all going? Because the depth of spiritual progress that I see in a lot of people, I don't see in these people. So what is happening here? This will also explain to you why I'm extremely skeptical about miracles and stuff like that, because I just come from a certain background and I am very skeptical in general. It is very strange for me actually to be having a channel like this, for putting a lamp and Dhyanlingam, oh gosh. And that is what happened here, where this person has given initiations, and especially for a certain group of people it has really been inappropriate. What came as a very strange surprise to me is that this offshoot person who is not part of the official lineage, the visions that person got was of a leader from the Navnath Sampradaya, the Nimbargi Navnath Sampradaya, which was a really surprising thing for me, because I was just talking about Nath Sampradaya in the Sai Baba video which I just published. So that was strange. Also note that I am actually not casting aspersions on the Nimbargi Sampradaya, because I have not found any reason to. As I mentioned very clearly, this person who gave the misinitiations was an unofficial offshoot, and I've already highlighted the issues with that. On researching, I actually found that this lineage is really cool. I have written a detailed blog. The link to it is in the description below. In fact, Nisarga Datta Maharaj, who is really well known and regarded very highly, is part of this lineage. Because by now I've actually spent time with sadhakas from a lot of different places and different spiritual paths, and I've had some deep conversations also. I actually know of many cases, to be honest, where some kind of a misfire, I don't know if I would call it misfire, like I have people who genuinely consider have taken someone as a guru, and I myself also think very well of that guru actually, but for whatever reason after the initiation they had some real mess up. I'm not going to give their story or real example, but just to give you an idea what could happen is you get initiated and all of a sudden you start sleeping 3 times more than what you did before. You just become very, very sleepy, and as you can imagine, this is the opposite of what you thought, right? Because you take initiation thinking your sleep will reduce, your health will get better, you will do more sadhana and become more intense, and all of a sudden you are sleeping 3 times more. Like instead of sleeping for 5 hours, you are sleeping for 12-15 hours a day. Then what do? Even if you're in your householder situation, your life goes for a toss, no? How can you sleep that much? But if that initiation causes such a thing, then that's one example. Another example would be all of a sudden you just develop a really bad health problem. I actually know a friend who he did so much intense sadhana. He knows because of that sadhana he has developed health problems, but he considered the sadhana was correct and the guru was also genuine as per him. It's just that the force of the sadhana, the sheer intensity of the sadhana leads to some massive health problems. What happens is when you are in that burst of being intense and wanting to do sadhana, you may not realize that if it is having some implications on your health, those implications will continue for your life. Maybe it could. So that time you don't realize, and then later, after some time, the health problem keeps getting worse and worse and worse until a point where you can't even do your sadhana properly. Another example is your personality could shift completely. Like you took up the initiation and you would be having so many things, your life may be going certain way. You could even be inside a particular ashram actually, that's also possible. You may not even be in the household situation. Maybe you've gone into an ashram and then you go through some initiation and your personality completely changes. Either you just become, you just get an addiction for some kind of entertainment. You get addiction for tea, coffee, some kind of food you may get. Some quirk may happen, and your ashram life will not support that kind of addiction. Maybe for a little while if you explain to admin, I don't even know how the admin may respond to something like this, but maybe for a little while they may even be okay, or they may just ask you to abstain completely, and just that abstaining from that addiction would drive you nuts. I mean, I'm just telling you it, and I'm not making these up. Real stories are actually very similar. So it is as weird as it sounds what I'm saying, but that is how it works for a lot of people. But I have realized that my own spiritual path is impacted by this, which is fine. I mean, all of us as sadhakas are dealing with whatever we have experienced in the past in this life, and also whatever we are carrying from before. And also these kind of wrong initiations, see, for a sadhaka, I feel we have to just take it as our path, like how any sadhaka or any person. I often tell people that everyone is walking the spiritual path, whether they know it consciously or they feel they are not walking, still they are walking only, because their life is going on, growth is happening, realizations are happening, insights are happening. Even though you don't coin it as spiritual, there is life happening, so it's spiritual only. I mean, there is always a spiritual dimension is what I mean. So for any person, and even for a sadhaka especially, difficulties are going to come if it comes in the form of a wrong guru, if it comes in the form of a wrong initiation. then that's our path, that is the person's path. So I think that's, and obviously for the people around them also, that was their life and that was that allotted suffering they had to go through. So in that deeper sense, I don't think it's like a bigger problem than anything else. So over time, because I've also had some time to think about all of this since shooting that first part of this video, I think it has helped me become more understanding, because I realized that I think in some part of my mind I was blaming the people, like even the guru to some extent, and even the sadhakas who in my personal circle had all of those problems after the initiation. But I have realized that I don't think either of them could really do anything, because when you have taken the initiation with the best of intentions, the guru has given with the best of intentions, if there is a misfire like this, what can you do? I mean, either of them cannot do anything. So yeah, I think this has been a really big thing for me, because I have been able to understand and to some extent forgive some grudges that I was holding. Some compassion has come into me after just reflecting on this whole situation, and I think at the end of the day, that's all we can do. If somebody goes through this near us, we can deal with it with compassion and understanding a little bit, and if it happens to us, then same thing, understanding and compassion, and be gentle with ourselves and with other people. And sometimes if it happens to like a third person who you know but you don't actually care about, you may start judging them. Especially a lot of times we see these brahmacharis and all, and we see them indulging in some very wrong types of behavior. So it is one thing to allot the administration about it, because at the end the organization has to be responsible about how the brahmachari is behaving. But the second is also to have some understanding, because see, they would be going through so many things. For all we know, some initiation misfire may have happened in their case, or something else may have happened. So I just think we can be a lot more gentler and understanding with our fellow sadhakas and the people we consider a little above us, like brahmacharis and teachers and stuff like that as well. So what can we do to avoid this kind of situations? I am not sure there is anything 100% we can do, because as I mentioned, reliable paths and someone who you've taken as your actual guru, and for many years you've been doing the sadhana and stuff, even then for whatever reason a stronger initiation could just result in some very strange implications for ourselves or a person. And so I don't think there's any way to do anything about that. But I think a few things we can look at is, one is, if we are going to a path where at least there are a few more people following, you have built some amount of rapport with some of them, or that there is an organization, because if a misfire happens, at least you can approach the organization and talk to them and see if, because a lot of times they should at least give some kind of some kind of remedial ideas, so that you could try it out. You shouldn't be completely on your own, oh my god, I got initiation and this complete mess up has happened, now what should I do, and I have no one to go to. That should not be happening. And I think it is also for that family and for that sadhaka to understand that you should be relying on that support infrastructure that exists. If you have taken a specific initiation, you go and ask those guys only for help. And if that doesn't work out for whatever reason, you can check some other supportive lineages or supporting ashrams and all, and go and even check over there. Because for whatever reason, I sometimes feel that sadhakas tend to isolate themselves, maybe because they feel that this is such a personal issue they don't want to share. Maybe they feel embarrassed, maybe somewhere they are feeling that something was wrong in me, or I got punished. I don't know what kind of complex emotions could be there in the person. That's one thing. So that when so basically wherever you're going for initiation, you see that's a proper structure with a bunch of people, at least who you can contact in times of help, and that do reach out for help. Don't simply keep the problem to yourself and keep muddling over it with you and your circle. Go out and reach out to actual sadhakas. And thirdly, just avoid completely random dikshas. Don't you need to know that guru or person, whoever it is, like what is their qualification and all. In India, what is happening is because a lot of great yogis who we through many sources we kind of get a validation that this person was a great yogi, and then they a lot of their spiritual story has had visions in them, and also you assume that, oh, this other person I know who has been having visions, even that person can give an initiation. No, there is no such thing. You have to really look into it, and ideally you should, I feel it is kind of a safe bet to go for these paths which are kind of set and thousands of people and have gone and gotten initiated there. Take Sadhguru or take Sri Sri Ravi Shankar or any of those kind of, who thousands of people from all walks of life and from all over the world have gone and taken initiations over there. So you feel at least in general it will be fine, and then if some specific issue happens to you, at least this is your own personal thing, but at least the methodology was kind of okay for the large mass. So I feel that is a safer bet. If for whatever reason you basically land in a situation where you find that sadhu in the cave and all, then maybe you can spend some time with them before you actually go in for an initiation. That's all I can think of. Because again, going by lore and all, there are some yogis whose stories you listen and it will be like, they just met the sadhu and the sadhu initiated them. It's like there is not much interaction. But then later they go on to become enlightened and they say, oh, that great yogi or my guru, who basically spent not even 1 minute with this sadhaka. So it's very tricky, I guess. There is no real sure shot answer. But for yourself, if you want to put some safeguards, you can do these few things. But apart from that, I think at the end of the day, we have to understand that if we have an initiation misfire or any mess up of this kind, at the end, that is our karma. As sadhakas, we anyway need to go through many things. Some people will say that sadhakas need to go through more suffering than other people because our life is basically being fast forwarded. A lot of the suffering which we would get over many lifetimes might come within one lifetime simply because we are getting it over. So we become closer to dropping all our karma altogether. So I don't know, I have not thought too deeply, and I don't want to go deep into that ideology right now, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, if we come through a crap situation, we just take it as a karma and move forward and do the best with it.